Now we're at episode 14, and surprisingly, this show has actually picked up some momentum. Sure, the last few episodes haven't been perfect, but I have been able to enjoy every single one of them, meaning that this show is starting to hit its stride. I would never have expected that whenever I resumed reviewing this show with episode 9, but I guess time really does heal all wounds. Still, as much as I enjoyed the last episode, I really want Ninja Steel to kickstart a new plot, that way I can get sucked into the story and enjoy this season even more. And it looks like I'm gonna get my wish since I hear that this episode is the first in a two-parter, so let's see how Ninja Steel introduces the next plot as we look at episode 14, The Royal Rival. The episode opens with Sarah introducing her new cookie creator as a project for class, which she says will make a delicious cookie out of any food that's put into it. Okay, I really didn't anticipate that the first in a two-parter would start out like this. Victor's disbelieving of Sarah's invention, but after he tries a cookie made from Monty's disgusting lunch, he's surprised to find that the machine works. Victor and Monty are then called to present their business idea to the class, but they stall for time until the bell rings, only for the teacher to demand the project results the next day, or else they'll receive a failing grade. Meanwhile on the ship, Cosmo Royale introduces the new ruler of the Lion Galaxy named Princess Viera, who has come to show her strength by defeating the Power Rangers along with her guard, Lord Drillion. Madame Odious has some doubts, however.
People say she's a weak ruler. Do you really think she can destroy the Rangers?
Her guard, Drillion, is as tough as they come. If she fails, I'll just order him to destroy the Rangers.
Oh, so these two are supposed to fill Ripcon's general spot. Not bad, Ninja Steel. Not bad. Back in the city, the Rangers are busy selling cookies with Sarah's invention, while Victor and Monty are trying to sell fresh milk as part of their business project. Though, funnily enough, neither one of them knows how to milk a cow, resulting in Victor being sent through a table after getting sprayed by the cow. The two are then arrested by a cop because they accidentally stole the cow they have. Well, that took a turn. The Rangers are then called about Buzzcam, so they go to confront the oncoming threat, while Mick mans the cookies. Viera and Drillion then start destroying the city to lure the Rangers out, and while the princess is doing this to show her strength as a ruler, that apparently means that she'll bark orders at Drillion, who does most of the work. The Rangers arrive to take on the monster, but Drillion proves to be more of a match for the Rangers, since he easily knocks them all down. The team unknowingly deflects one of Drillion's attacks at Viera, causing the princess to fall, but Sarah catches the falling bystander. The Pink Ranger goes to check on the princess, who's surprised to learn that a Power Ranger saved her, so much so that she stops Drillion from attacking the team before the two head back to the ship. Galvanax is furious that Viera stopped the fight, but the princess says she plans to learn more about her enemy before she destroys them, and as she walks off, Galvanax offers to help Drillion become the new ruler of the Lion Galaxy should Viera choose not to destroy the Rangers. Drillion accepts the offer, even though he's supposed to be Viera's loyal guard, but I guess if a game show winner offers to help you become king, you accept without question. Later, Viera goes to spy on the Rangers, who are busy packing up for the day, and once Sarah's alone, the princess goes to talk to her. Sarah offers Viera a cookie at no charge, but before she can recognize the villain, a thief suddenly snatches her cookies, with Viera giving chase. The princess successfully captures the thief, and while she's ready to enact punishment, Sarah tells her to let the thief go, asking the boy why he stole from her. The boy explains that he took the food for him and his sister, who he had to drop out of school to take care of since the two are on their own. Hearing this, Sarah decides to give her invention to the boy so he can start his own cookie business, on the condition that he doesn't steal again. Princess Viera is confused by this turn of events.
Why would you reward a thief instead of punishing him?
Because sometimes people don't need punishment. They need help. Everyone deserves a second chance.
Where I come from, might makes right. I was taught to crush anyone who opposed me. But deep inside, I always knew that was wrong. You forgave that boy, even though you could have used your strength as a Power Ranger to crush him.
How did you know it was a Power Ranger? Wait a minute. I knew you looked familiar.
You and your monster tried to destroy us. You're that princess.
Yes, I'm Princess Viera. I was sent here to prove my strength by destroying you and your fellow Rangers. But you've shown me that kindness can be just as powerful.
Forgive me if I don't just jump in and believe every word you say.
Oh, you can believe her. She's weak. I've always known it. And today, she's finished.
Oh, man. Sorry to do this again, folks, but I'm gonna have to get back to you on this scene. Drillion tries to blast Sarah, but the princess steps in to block the attack, at which point the other Rangers walk onto the set to blast Drillion themselves. After checking that Viera's alright, Sarah joins the other Rangers to morph into action, but even though the team throws everything they've got at Drillion, he's still able to beat them down. Viera then says she plans to give the Rangers some help before teleporting back to the ship to grab her own lion ship. Galvanax then orders Cosmo Royale to make Drillion grow along with some Skull Gators, forcing the Rangers to call their Zords to knock the monsters back before forming destroying the Fusion Megazord. Though the Megazord's able to take down the Skull Gators with ease, Drillyon proves to be a tougher opponent since he manages to not only separate the Megazord, but also send all 6 Rangers back to the ground. However, before Drillyon can finish the Rangers off, Viera comes in with her ship, guns blazing, which ultimately forces her guard to retreat. The Rangers leave triumphantly, happy to have Viera on their side, but the princess isn't out of the woods yet as Galvanex's forces shoot down the Lion ship. Cut back to the high school, because I guess we need to close out this also important cookie plot. Sarah explains that she couldn't finish her project, which is when the boy from earlier comes in, saying that Sarah gave her invention to him, which I guess made enough money in the course of half a day for the boy to re-enroll in school. Alright. The teacher decides to give Sarah an A+ for helping someone in need, before asking where Victor and Monty are. Cut to the police station, where Victor and Monty are only now getting charged with theft, thanks to the testimony of the cow they stole, and the episode ends with Viera walking away from the wreckage of the Lion ship as To Be Continued appears on the screen. This episode is bad, like really bad. While it certainly has a lot of good action, and I appreciate that this episode is more plot heavy than the previous one, there are a lot of character moments that just make this a confusing watch. First of all, we have yet another two-parter that focuses most of its first half on a filler plot involving Sarah. Granted, the Sarah portion of this episode isn't nearly as flawed as episode 7, but it strikes me as odd that the show would have her majorly involved in episodes that introduce new elements into the season. Speaking of, we now have Princess Viera and Drillyon added to the mix, who both have some of the worst character introductions I've ever seen. Part of the problem is we're given very little insight into who these people are when the episode starts, but the show expects you to know what their background is so that we can understand their very rushed alliance shifts halfway through. Sure, we're told that Princess Viera is seen as a weak ruler by some of her people, but we're not shown why, or even that she hates the might makes right mentality of her monarchy until she mentions it to Sarah as a way to justify her turn to the side of good. And because we don't see how conflicted she is about her role as a warrior princess, it makes her turn feel even more rushed since it only took 2 acts of kindness from Sarah for her to decide that she wants to be a different kind of ruler. Then there's Drillyon, who at first seems like a loyal servant to the princess, but as soon as Galvanex, who again is a game show winner, mentions that he can make Drillyon the ruler of the Lion Galaxy, the guard just decides to turn his back on Viera, saying that he always knew she was weak, even though we don't know what their dynamic was prior to this episode. The show could have solved this too by introducing these characters in the previous episode, where we had no plot-related elements at all, or if they wanted to keep this contained in the two-parter, they could have just shown a video package at the beginning, like a lot of actual game shows do, to introduce the audience to new contestants. Victor and Monty's dynamic is also shown to be in a weird place in this episode, making me question how their relationship is supposed to work. At the beginning of the season, Victor looked like a jock with Monty as his nerdy sidekick, but in this episode, not only does Monty not have their school project ready to present to the class, but neither one of them knows how to actually milk a cow. I would ask why Victor would be hanging out with Monty if he's not helping the jock be the most successful student ever, but I'm clearly giving too much thought to these two as characters when the show only uses them as comic relief in a live-action cartoon that's completely separate from the Power Rangers show I'm watching. Overall, as much as I would love to recommend this episode and keep the show's winning streak alive, the confusing nature of characters' actions make this a complete mess. Still, I hesitate to say that you can skip this one, since the next episode could be good enough to close this two-parter on a high note, and if nothing else, I am interested to see what Drillyon does as Galvanex's new general. I'm Nick, aka IronBat1993, and may the power protect you. Please subscribe for reviews of Ninja Steel, episode reviews. Also check out Dino Charge reviews too, episode reviews. Also there's Ninjago, which has reviews too. Go! Please subscribe.